Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm back to break down this 9-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings. Before we get into it, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, I would greatly appreciate that. YouTube continues to tell me about 60% of my audience is not subscribed. So if that's you and you enjoy the content, if you could take 1 second to hit that subscribe button, that would be awesome. We are right on the brink of 400 subscribers, so thank you to everyone that's supported so far, and I'm looking forward to continuing to grow this channel with you guys. If you are playing NBA DFS every single night, I would highly recommend that you check out my Patreon package, link below in the description, where you can get access to my premium NBA projections, NBA data sheet, player stats, team stats, play contact stats, score plays, injury impact insights, and NBA Discord chat access. I think that the package I'm offering is a great value. I've gotten a lot of good feedback from people that have invested in it so far, that are on there every single night, actually using the tools, investing themselves, investing their time. So if that's you, would highly recommend that. And with that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking down this slate today. First game on the slate, Atlanta taking on Cleveland. Right now, this game comes in with a 227.5 over-under with a 7-point spread in favor of the Atlanta Hawks. So Atlanta expected to, be the pretty decent heavy favorites in this one. Pretty decently paced game, though. I will say definitely a pace increase for the Cleveland side. So a guy like a Jarrett Allen at 7'5", I'm had a lot of interest in. There is no more Andre Drummond. This guy's consistently become the starting center, and we all know his capabilities as far as fantasy point per minute upside. Recently putting up 39, 43, and 56 DraftKings points. Still only priced at 7'5". That is way too cheap for Jarrett Allen in his new role in this team. So absolutely going to love him. So we'll start there. Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, Chetty Osman, the next three in line as far as the Cleveland side is concerned. Rotation is very condensed, very predictable as far as who's getting the minutes and who's getting the usage, so that's always good. We like to see that. So, these are the guys you'll be looking to. Pretty evenly dispersed as far as who's getting the usage and minutes and all that as well. So, yeah, I mean, these guys are the ones priced up for good reason. They're the most solidified in the rotation. And you got a guy like Isaac Okoro who's getting some pretty decent minutes as well, Windler, but these guys aren't really good fantasy point per minute producers. I mean, Okoro playing a ton of minutes but can barely get you there for some reason still. This guy is playing like 30-something minutes a game, mid-30s, and still only barely putting up like 23, 27 DraftKings points. Now, he is only priced at 4.3, so it's like, sure, if we're taking on an Atlanta team that's not very good on defense, maybe this is the one you take advantage of the low price tag and throw him in there. Just know you're going to be sitting there watching him play, and most likely he's going to slowly but surely get there, and you're going to be like, well, what is this guy doing? He's been on the floor for 40 minutes, and he's barely producing anything, so there's no way you're getting yourself into as far as he's concerned. And then, yeah, on the Atlanta side, it's pretty simple as well. I mean, you got no DeAndre Hunter. He's been out for a while. So on the cheap end, you're looking to a Kevin Huerter at only $5K. This guy consistently playing mid-30s to low 30s in minutes. And has been struggling recently, so his price tag is dipping. So I'm fine with that because that means we're just going to get to capitalize on the lower price tag than he should be. He's still getting a lot of minutes. Cam Reddish listed as questionable in this one. If he is out, which he shouldn't be, he is probable. So we're just going to scratch the if he's out because I'm just going to assume he's in. He continues to get minutes as well. And then you have a guy in a Danilo Gallinari down here at 4.8 who's also involved in the rotation, but kind of throwing darts at those guys. Honestly, it's really two guys. It's Trae Young, it's Clint Capella. They're priced up, but for good reason. These are the 1A and 1B in this lineup. Trae Young, Clint Capella, pick and roll. You get all the usage. Trae Young recently putting up 69 DraftKings points, so very, very high upside. We know that he has when he's able to shoot the three ball as effective as he's capable of. And Clint Capella, same thing is going to apply to him. He's got 60 plus fantasy point upside at his price tag. So, yeah, definitely a viable option. John Collins at 6'5", probably not looking to go there quite as much. He is cheaper, so maybe a viable option. But, he does have some foul trouble issues, as I mentioned oftentimes. He's cheaper, so definitely feel free to go in their tournaments. I would not be playing this guy in cash. That'd be my advice there. Detroit taking on Orlando. This game comes in right now with a 3.5-point spread in favor of the Orlando Magic, a 207.5 over-under. So a very, very slow-paced game. Honestly, going to have a hard time playing too many pieces from this game. Nikola Vucevic at 10-2 is priced up because he's just getting so much usage in this offense. Detroit is very bad defensively, and he did just play this team and put up 64 DraftKings points. So, maybe we can waive the slow pace factor as far as when it comes to Nikola Vucevic because of just how much usage he's getting. Just know what's going on here as far as the usage is concerned. Jeremiah Grant at 7-6, same thing for him. There is no Blake Griffin anymore. I'd expect him to be getting a lot more rebounds. Recently, he got out there and put 5 boards. Hasn't really been getting a lot of rebounds, so I've been waiting for that to happen, and he finally did get a little, like a few, But, yeah. Then you got Aaron Gordon. DeLon Wright's out. Cole Anthony's out. So, on the Orlando side, we're going to continue to have interest in guys like Evan Fournier, Terrence Ross, Michael Carter-Williams. These guys are going to fill in all the holes in the usage that's been taken away from this rotation. So, specifically, Terrence Ross at 6'6" just continues to get a bunch of usage and more minutes than he was before. So, I'd continue looking to him, especially in tournaments. Evan Fournier at 6'8", same rule applies. So, those two guys really locked in on. Evan Fournier putting up 47 and 47 DraftKings points the last 2 times out. Still only priced at 6'8". Definitely like me some Evan Fournier. And definitely like me some Dennis Smith Jr. at 4'2", starting to take over a starting role on this team. Now, he only did play 15 minutes last night, so it's a little tricky, but I'm thinking tournament-wise, this guy's going to get a big bump in minutes soon, and DeLon Wright being out, I think, can really help. So, but Saben Lee was the main beneficiary last time out, so what that means in this one, just keep an eye. He was 3-2, he played 33 minutes, and he put up 30 DraftKings points, so maybe he's the guy. He was the guy last time, so if we get news that, they're going to continue to roll with that, and or if we don't get news that Dennis Smith Jr. is expecting to get a bump in usage, maybe he's the one you go to. So just know that's a situation. Then you got Josh Jackson, Sadiq Bey. These guys getting big bumps in usage and minutes recently, so they're the two really big beneficiaries of no Blake Griffin, so continue to look at them as well. Just keep in mind it's a slower paced game, but these guys have definitely bigger roles than they were having early on in the season. Sacramento taking on Brooklyn. We got no Kevin Durant. Continues to be out in this one. We're looking at a 242 over-under with a 7.5-point spread in favor of the Brooklyn Nets. So Brooklyn expected to win this one fairly easily. However, it is expected to be a fast-paced game. And I think this is literally a dream fantasy game tonight. So, definitely have some interest in this one because Sacramento and Brooklyn both have been absolutely terrible, especially Brooklyn since acquiring the big three defensively. I think there's going to be zero defense in this game. Honestly, I don't even worry about the blowout because Brooklyn's that bad defensively to where if they start to get ahead, I think Sacramento's just going to be able to score their way back into this one. And Brooklyn has a tremendous amount of people on the injury news side of things. So Jeff Green, TLC, Tyler Johnson, Iman Shumpert, all listed as questionable, and then you got Kevin Durant out. So we could be having a lot more interest in guys like Joe Harris, Bruce Brown, Landry Shamet. They could be taking a big bump here in minutes and role. But it's James Harden and it's Kyrie Irving. I mean, both these guys getting a bunch of usage. They get a dream matchup. Going to absolutely love both these guys in this one for sure. So make sure you're getting a lot of exposure to Kyrie Irving and James Harden tonight. De'Aaron Fox, Halliburton, Buddy Hield become bigger priorities if there is no Harrison Barnes. He is listed as questionable, so you can feel real comfortable just locking these guys in. If Harrison Barnes is back, I would lean Harrison Barnes over a Halliburton, maybe over a Buddy Hield as well. Just more consistency. Marvin Bagley at 5'9" continues to be an intriguing play as well. Really starting to produce some good fantasy points, putting up around 30 minutes a game. And you got Rashawn Holmes at 5'6". I mean, literally every single one of these guys I'd have no issue with playing. Rashawn Holmes' minutes have been cut recently, though. So maybe he's the one I do have interest in, or less interest in playing. We're seeing more minutes for Bjelica and Hassan Whiteside. All three of these guys are kind of cutting into each other's minutes and or usage. So, but yeah, really be locking in on De'Aaron Fox, Halliburton, and Buddy Hield if there is no Harrison Barnes. And then feel good about throwing Marvin Bagley in as well. And then feel good about throwing in Joe Harris on the Brooklyn side because there is no Kevin Durant. I think that he is underpriced at 5'7". Really have a lot of interest in him in this one as well. So, yeah. A lot of interest to be had in this game, and I will definitely really like Bruce Brown if we find out that all these Brooklyn guys are out because he's a good fantasy point per minute producer. He just needs that bump up in minutes. DeAndre Jordan at 5'5". Also, would become a much better play if there is no Jeff Green, because Jeff Green being out, he's going to get the bump in minutes on the Brooklyn side. So keep an eye on that injury news. Boston taking on Dallas in this one. Right now, this game comes in with a 224.5 over-under with a 1-point spread in favor of the Boston Celtics. So, not the fastest pace, not the slowest pace. Looking at usage guys and who's going to be out. Kristaps Porzingis was out on a back-to-back last time. I would expect him to be available in this one. But got to keep an eye, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I think they just decided to rest him on the front end of the back-to-back. That's all that was. So I think he's going to be good to go. Marcus Smart continues to be on the Boston side, so we're looking to Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, and Kemba Walker. Pretty fairly self-explanatory. I will continue to say that I do prefer Jalen Brown greatly at his discounted price in comparison to Jason Tatum. However, Jalen Brown is starting to be somewhat similarly priced. So, if you need to fill in a position with a power forward instead of a shooting guard or small forward, I have no issue with you going to Jason Tatum. If you're just needing a forward overall, I would go to Jalen Brown because of his price tag. Kemba Walker at 6'4" continues to be an intriguing play. He's kind of been somewhat underwhelming, but he's also put up 52 DraftKings points. So we know he's capable of blowing this price tag out of the water. We're just hoping that he does. Daniel Tice at 4'8" continues to be a great play as well, getting a lot of minutes, a lot of production, mid-30s to upper 30s in minutes. Only put up 21 fantasy points last time out, but I think that was because of foul trouble. He got 5 fouls on him in that one, putting up 37 the time before. 4'8" is just too cheap for a guy that's playing, mid to upper 30 minutes at the power forward center position. So I'm going to continue to have some tournament interest in him. And that's where my interest kind of fades out in this game. Golden State taking on New York. Stephen Curry is listed as questionable. This game comes in with a 215.5 over-under with a 1.5 point spread in favor of the Golden State Warriors. Similar to the Orlando-Detroit game, a very dreadful pace. Not going to have a ton of interest in this one. We have a game that we talked about in Sacramento-Brooklyn that I'm just going to be loading up on for sure. But you got a few guys in this game that are definitely valid. There's no Mitchell Robinson, so we're going to continue to see some more minutes out of a guy like a Nerlens Noel at 4'9" here, taking on this Golden State squad. You can continue to play him. He's been pretty underwhelming in his upside, but we all know he's capable of putting up like 40 DraftKings points. If you've been playing DFS for a while, this guy's a very good fantasy point per minute producer, so just waiting on that. And then Julius Randle, 9'3", the most obvious candidate on the New York side. I'm not scared about this Golden State defense, so although it's a slow-paced game, I could definitely still be playing some Julius Randle. Kelly Oubre, Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins will all receive a pretty big bump if there is no Stephen Curry in this one, so keep an eye on that news for sure. It is looking like he's a true questionable. Let's see. He is expected to play. So, based on the latest injury news, I'm not even going to talk about it like he's out. I mean, it was an injury. He was a late scratch. He's expected to go. He was a full go in practice last time out. So, just breaking that down and how they're reporting, I'd expect him to be good to go. So, don't even worry about that. You're really playing Steph Curry. You're playing Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, Kelly Oubre. I will continue to play Kelly Oubre over all of them. His production has just been a lot better. However, Andrew Wiggins' discount and Draymond Green's slight discount in more of the center position do make them intriguing plays. It's just a matter of who you're prioritizing. I would be prioritizing Stephen Curry and Kelly Oubre. They're priced up for good reason, and that's pretty much what I'm looking to. The New York side, the rotation's too spread out. I'm not trying to get too cute with any one of them besides Julius Randle, really, and RJ Barrett at 5'5". They're the two that are playing the most minutes and have the most chance of, really getting you there. So other than that, I'm not really looking to get too cute with the rest of the guys in the rotation. Philadelphia taking on Toronto. This game right now comes in with a 224.5 over-under with a 2-point spread in favor of the Philadelphia 76ers. Not the fastest-paced game. Kyle Lowry is listed as questionable. If he's out, we're going to have a lot of interest in a guy like a Norman Powell for sure. Norman Powell continues to be a very good fantasy point per minute producer at 6'9". He put up 44, 48 DraftKings points. Last time out, a little bit of a dud, only putting up 12, but and then it was against the same Philly team, but I think he can bounce back in this one. Chris Boucher at 5'8" continues to see his minutes cut more so recently, so he has the upside, but a little bit more of a risky proposition. And these guys down here, like a Terrence Davis, a DeAndre Bembry, not going to quite get you there based on the minutes they've been receiving. And DeAndre Bembry getting a ton of minutes recently because of defense, but not exactly the best fantasy point per minute producers. So Kyle Lowry out, you're looking to Norman Powell, Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet. That's the main three you're looking to. They're going to get a lot of minutes, and OG Anunoby. These are the main beneficiaries, the guys that are going to get all the minutes, and the guys that I feel real confident locking into my lineups because we just know the minutes are going there. It's a very predictable rotation. That's what you like to see. And on the Philadelphia side, it's the same thing. Seth Curry is listed as questionable. I do really like him typically. He is probable, so I expect him to be in. So I think he's a valid play. I think Danny Green's a valid play, and Jake Milton's a valid play. These guys all kind of take turns having the big game, though. So, if I'm picking one, I'm picking Seth Curry every single time just because he seems to be the one that they're most likely to run out there the most amount of minutes. Spot-up shooter, and I know he can shoot it. And then you're looking at Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and Tobias Harris. Now, Joel Embiid is my favorite by far. He's priced all the way up, but for good reason. We see how this guy put up 91 DraftKings points recently against the Chicago Bulls. That's kind of upside that Joel Embiid has. Literally 1.5 fantasy point per minute producer, if not more, when he's got it going. Ben Simmons at 9K. I will continue to fade if all three of these guys are healthy because I would rather just go down to Tobias Harris at 8.3 personally, get the wing shooter, better shooter on DraftKings. I think he's going to have a better upside potential repertoire for you. Moving further along, Minnesota taking on Milwaukee. This game is expected to be an absolute blowout. 11-point spread in favor of the Milwaukee Bucks. 232 over under. If you've been watching my content for some while now, you know exactly what I'm going to say. We're going to be playing Bobby Portis in this one at 5K. I don't think that the Minnesota side is going to be able to keep it close. I think this game could turn into a blowout. And when it is a blowout, I love to play me some Bobby Portis because that means he's going to get a few more minutes than he typically would. Very good fantasy point per minute producer, and he has been treating me very well in this situation all season long. He's not going to get any ownership because people's projections don't grade this. Not going to grade him out to be a great play. He's not going to get any more minutes in projection systems. But if it's a blowout, he is going to get more minutes. So I definitely like Bobby Portis, first guy that I will say. And Drew Holiday continues to be out. So we're going to have some interesting Chris Middleton and Dante DiVincenzo at the guard positions. Both these guys make a lot of sense. Minnesota is dreadful defensively. Chris Middleton last time out getting an easy matchup against Sacramento, as we discussed earlier, put up 62 DraftKings points. So I think he's a viable play in this one once again. Same thing for Dante DiVincenzo, same thing for Pat Connaughton. These guys are the ones that are going to get more usage, more minutes. So all of these guys make a lot of sense in tournament to me, on top of DJ Augustine. With no Drew Holiday, I think DJ Augustine could have a big game as well. So, I'm definitely interested in throwing some of these guys in the blowout narrative. Not really Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, Giannis could have a big game at 11K. And he most likely will. If you can fit him in, I'm not going to talk you off of him. Just buyer beware. They could decide to rest him pretty easily and just start throwing a guy like a Bobby Portis in this one, and that's why I would have interest in him. On the Minnesota side, it's fairly straightforward. It's Kyle Anthony Towns. It's Malik Beasley. Kyle Anthony Towns continues to see a bunch of usage, so I definitely like him at 9.6. Malik Beasley, there is no D'Angelo Russell still, so he's going to continue to chuck it a lot, playing mid to 30 up to 40 minutes. Up to 40 minutes, I should say. So definitely like him. Ricky Rubio at 6'1" continues to see his usage and minutes climb, but a little bit risky because he's not the best shooter. So it's like you could go there, but I'd rather go to other guard positions. And then you got Anthony Edwards, the young rookie. They're going to be throwing him out there for lots of minutes, trying to get him to develop. So he always makes sense as a high tournament upside play. A little bit risky, but he's going to get the minutes. You know that much. So Portland taking on Denver. This game has a 230.5 over-under with an 8-point spread in favor of the Denver Nuggets. Expected to be pretty fast-paced, and I'm definitely going to have interest in Nikola Jokic in this one because the Portland defense is terrible. Enes Kanter defense does not scare me, and I think that Nikola Jokic could definitely put up a big game in this one, so definitely be looking at him. And then, if we continue to see guys out on the Denver side, like a Paul Millsap, like a JaMychal Green, which I think we're going to, a Gary Harris, a PJ Dozier, you could be looking to guys like Michael Porter Jr. and Will Barton. These guys are going to get the minutes and the usage. Michael Porter Jr. recently getting a little cut out of the rotation. I don't know what's going on with him, so maybe lean more towards Will Barton. But even his minutes have been limited, so starting to spread these minutes a little more thin. I think we saw this Zeke and Najee get the start last time. He played 30 minutes. So where Denver's going, we do not know. We do know that Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic are the number 1 and number 2 options. So both these guys feel very confident putting them in their lineups in this matchup taking on Portland. That's what I will say. Those are 2 guys you can just lock in, feel real good about. So I'm going to continue to promote them. And on the other side, it's Damian Lillard continuing to get all the usage on the Phoenix side. Only playing 29 minutes last time out, not putting up a lot of points. That was because of the blowout. So don't let that deter you from playing him in this one. They just got blown out. And so, taken off the court. And then Enes Kanter at 7K you could look to. They're going to need his body for Nikola Jokic out there. Robert Covington at 6'4". Portland has a lot of guys you could be playing, honestly, just based on minutes. Enes Kanter, Robert Covington, Gary Trent Jr. All makes sense in this one for sure, based on their fantasy point production and their minutes recently. So, Washington taking on the Los Angeles Clippers. Last game on the slate. This game right now comes in with a 236 over-under with a 10-point spread in favor of the Los Angeles Clippers. Washington did play last night, so maybe Westbrook could be listed as out. I have a feeling he is going to be listed as out. We went to overtime last time, taking on this Los Angeles Lakers team. He played a lot of minutes, 44 minutes. I have a feeling that Westbrook will be listed as out, so that means we could definitely be playing some Bradley Beal at 9.5. Going to get a ton of shot volume and a ton of opportunity. And then Rui Hachimura, Davis Bertans, all these guys that are in the starting rotation consistently with no Russell Westbrook will get a bump up in usage, so definitely be looking to them in this one. And then on the Clippers side, you got Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, all these guys, and great matchup taking on Washington. I just have a feeling this game is going to be a blowout. And with that being said, I do prefer Paul George in that situation. I just think he's better in those games. Kawhi Leonard kind of takes the backseat. Paul George more of a free-for-all jump shooter. So I do think that Paul George is going to be a viable play at 9-1. And yeah, he's the one I'd be looking to in this one. You can play Lou Williams off the bench as a 6-man at 6'2" if you really want to get risky. But I think with all these guys back, he's just way too overpriced. And maybe playing like a Luke Kennard or Reggie Jackson with the blowout, but that's just up to you. That's tournament plays, and that's all I'd be looking to in this one. So with all that being said, got to give you guys my lock of the night. Let's get into it. And my lock of the night tonight is going to be Kyrie Irving taking on this Sacramento team. As mentioned at the top, absolutely terrible defensively. I'm going to absolutely love Kyrie Irving in this one. At only an 8.8 price tag, continues to be no Kevin Durant. He's going to continue to get a ton of usage. And to be honest with you, Kyrie hasn't even scratched his ceiling recently, putting up 37, 56, 31, and 48 DraftKings points the last 4 times out. This guy easily has 70-plus DraftKings fantasy point upside. And in a matchup against Sacramento, continuing to be no Kevin Durant, I think this guy could really take over, not to mention with more injuries on the Brooklyn side, that could just increase his usage in this one. Love Kyrie Irving at 8.8. Wouldn't be surprised to see his price tag increase very soon. So take advantage while you can, because Kyrie Irving is my lock of the night. So there you have it, guys. Kyrie Irving, 8.8. Get him in your lineup. Sacramento, great matchup. I think this guy's going to have a huge game tonight. And that is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. I would greatly appreciate that. On the way to 400 subs, thank you guys for all the support. And don't forget, if you are getting serious about NBA DFS, check out my Patreon package. The link's below in the description. That is all from me in this one. Wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.